So here we are at the first mile marker. We've already actually managed to mess things up, and we're off the trail hiking along the road and actually had to hike back to it. But figured it was worth it to get the first mile marker in there. So here we are, approaching our first PCT gate and the first set of railroad tracks, which I think will be the only ones we see for a good several hundred miles. So we're probably about 8 miles into the PCT or so, and our dog is hating the heat. Yeah, we'd probably be able to move faster, but she's really not liking the heat. So we're thinking we might wait here until it cools off, or maybe go a bit farther and find a maybe nicer spot to rest or something. Hopefully it'll cool off and she'll be better in the evening.
So Mount Morena is just back there. We're leaving it and heading on to the PCT. The dog was getting too hot, so she's going to take a break for the rest of today. It's about noon, and we've done about 5 miles so far today. Last night we camped at mile 15.8. We are at our first stream crossing, and Jakota's going to try to jump it. And there goes his splash.
Okay, so while we watch these guys stretch, let's have a story time. That night, I'm at my campsite, and I get a text from Jakota saying they are camped near a road and would like me to bring the dog so she can hike with them the next day. When I get to where they are camped, Jakota excitedly asks if I want to see something creepy. He then leads me just a few hundred feet from where they are camped and shows me what they thought might be a human skeleton. There were a bunch of bones wrapped in an old sleeping bag and left in a shallow hole. It was sort of like a grave. We don't really think it was human, but we couldn't identify these bones. We thought it was really weird that it was clearly nicely wrapped up by someone and buried. We think after it was buried, animals smelled it and dug it up and tore open the sleeping bag. But we didn't know why someone would go through the work of wrapping something up and burying it way out in the middle of nowhere. Let us know in the comments what you think these bones are.
It's the morning of our third day on the PCT. Last night we camped just outside Sibbitt's Flat Campground. It's technically closed, but we went in to grab water and then camped right outside the fence. It was around PCT mile 33. We did have to go off the PCT about 3/4 of a mile. It's a little bit cooler this morning. We are within 5 miles of Mt Laguna, which will probably be our stopping point for today, since you cannot camp in the 10 miles past Mt Laguna, and we don't think we can make it through all 10.
I don't have much for photos or videos from this next section, but we met back up with them at the summit of Mt Laguna. All the nearby campsites were full, so instead of driving really far to find camping, we decided to drive to the nearby town of Julian and stay in a hotel.
So here we are at the Apple Tree Inn. So this is the end of the third day. Well, the first 2 days we were doing okay mileage at about 15 or 16 miles a day. However, as we were just coming off of basically couch life since it was winter in Montana and we weren't doing much hiking because we hate the cold. So after doing 2 15-16 mile days, we were both kind of feeling sore and tired. Our new bags were less than maybe ideal. I was having trouble with my flat feet and my knees were maybe starting to twinge a little. My sister was having problems with her shoulders and her hips and her ankle. So this morning we decided that we were going to have a shorter day and just hike into Mt Laguna, which was 10 miles from where we were at. Well, beyond our uncomfortableness in feet and knees, we are also not really enjoying the California heat. And even though it seems like in times in Montana it gets pretty hot, it generally, I'd say, gets up to 100 or above 100 at least once every summer. It still seems like California heat is worse. According to the weather report, it was only supposed to be like 70 degrees yesterday, but it definitely felt hotter, definitely 80s or 90s. So I don't know if the weather report was wrong or if it's just California heat, but it's definitely hot during the middle of the days. So we're hoping that today after we rest up, we might be able to start trying to hike more in the early mornings and then take a long break, maybe noon to 4 or 11 to 4 or something, so we can not be hiking in the heat. And then hopefully after that long break, we'll be able to maintain a good speed then again in the evening and actually end up making more miles than just trying to power through in the middle of the day when it's too hot to really be hiking. We also hope to maybe start watching our breaks better. We before weren't really even stopping much for lunches or anything, so we hope that maybe if we plan our breaks better and might be able to actually make better time even if we're hiking for fewer hours. So tomorrow we're hoping to hike either another 15 miles or possibly press on to about 20 miles and then maybe the day after be able to push to Scissors Crossing. The days are supposed to hopefully be more cool, so if that's true it'll definitely be a nice reprieve from the terrible heat of the past 2 days, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
We have, it's called Muster's Secret. It's an ointment for dogs' feet, and because Willow is also walking the PCT, she has to have dog feet ointment. And then so she doesn't lick them off her paws, she gets socks. We have little dog socks. She is getting tired on the PCT and stiff, just like a human.
So it's supposed to help the knees. You're supposed to just sit so your legs can get at 90, so the bed doesn't really work because it's squishy. But then just put 5 to 8-ish, somewhere around there, pounds of weight on each ankle and then just do small kicks with your legs. I don't really know the science behind it, but it's supposed to do something to help the knee. So if you have knee pain or something while hiking, this might help.